In this tutorial, I want to show you how to create a dismissible stack similar to this one. So we can move our top card to the left and dismiss it. We can do it on the right side. We can click somewhere inside this card. And once we dismiss our last card, this stack closed with animation. And what's also important here is that if we dismiss our card and new card is appearing, it's appearing with opacity animation to make it look nicer, like this green card. And obviously all the cards are moving forward to us once we do this. So let's start doing this in a new project. I created one called DismissibleStack. Nothing's going on here, it's completely empty. Let's just close this one for now and start from 0. While Xcode is running, let's try to create our basic layout. Okay, so DismissibleStack. I'd say what we need to do is just create column with children. And let's create just 3 containers for now. Okay, here are 3 containers, and let's work with this pink one as our base container. In Flutter SDK, we have a widget called Dismissible, and it's very similar to what we need. So let's try it out. We need to provide a key. So once this is ready, we can actually move our container, and we can even dismiss it. Now, if we try to auto stack, we see that dismissible widget is still part of the tree. What does it mean? If we check our widgets tree, we have call container, dismissible, container, container, and if we dismiss it, and this, it's still appearing. So arrow is self-explanatory. We need to implement callback on dismissed and remove our dismissible from widget tree. Okay, let's do this now. So we will display this only if dismissed is false and or undismissed. Call set state and set dismissed equals true. So let's run this. And as we can see, it's already very similar to what we need. Next step would be create custom widget based on this dismissible one. So let's just copy this and create DismissibleStack. remove this one, and now let's fix these warnings for now. Since node safety is enabled for this project, we don't really need this. Okay. And let's rename this dismissible widget into DismissibleStack. And we can also rename dismiss direction into stack dismiss direction. We can remove this. Okay, let's cancel this, and we can just ignore this for now. Okay, let's change this to DismissibleStack and see if it still works. Okay, it works. That's cool. So what should be our next step? I'd say because we want to work not with a single child but with the children, let's just change this. So we have child here. Let's change this to a list of children. And for now we can, let's see what's going on here. So we have content with slide transition. We have this background, and this is wrapper to handle gestures. And there is already this stack existing. And here is the content. I'd say we can just reuse this stack. And do this. Let's just render the first child. And here let's create a list of colors. This will be our testing cards. Test cards. So Cupertino. System yellow, green, red. What else does I have? System teal. And pink one. What we can do now is just create a container for each color. And here's our yellow one. And it still works. So now we need to decide who will manage the state of this children. Will this be DismissibleStack? Will we manage this internally, or this should be managed by our parent? For me, it's a personal preference. I'd say that it's better if it's managed by the parent. It just feels more natural for Flutter parenting. What does it mean is that when our top card is removed, we need to have some kind of callback. So parent can remove this from the collection and we can re-render this. But before we move into this part, let's try to render a couple of more widgets and make sure that we are not resizing our widget before all the cards are removed. To do this, I think we can just try to render our second children right here. Second child, sorry. And we can see our green one. Let's just make this gray zone. You can see our green underneath. Now, if we dismiss it, still resizing, so let's try to fix this. So how to find what's going on here? If you think about it, our animation starts on drag end. Let's just move this path, handle drag end. And we can see handle move completed. And here we ask via confirmation our parent. This can be customizable if you want to allow dismissing this card or not. And if yes, we start our resize animation. So this is what we don't really need right now. Let's test it. And resize animation not there. If you do a touch, we will still see our top card we just dismissed. So what it means is that we need to notify our parent about this card. Let's create some callback for this. On top card dismissed. Don't think we need comment for this, it's quite obvious. And once our top card dismissed, we can update our state and say that we need to remove at 0. We are not doing any checks right now. We can do this later on. For now, we just want to make sure it works. So Let's see. Start resize animation. I have to make sure that this callback is not now. Okay, and now something weird happened. So when we dismissed our card and we rebuilt our widget DismissibleStack with new cards, okay, this is unexpected. We see that our third card is rendered. Why this happens? Basically, it happens because our move controller, move animator, for our slide transition move animation still contains all values for the dismissed card. In order to fix this, we just need to reset this move controller. Let's check it out. And now it works. So we can dismiss all our cards. Let's try to fix this one. So this means that if color strings is not empty. And now another one. It's right here. Okay, I want to fix something. So we are rendering our cards from first one to the last one, our children, which is not right, I guess. We should render our last card first. So let's fix this as well. So we want to display our last card. We want to remove last, and we want to display widget children that's -2. So -1 will be the last one. We need one before this. And now we can check if widget children length -2 if it's more than 0 or equals 0. And system yellow should be the last card. And bad state. Okay, so we should obviously render this only if widget children is not empty. So now let's try to fix this resize animation. We already have it. So on top card dismissed. Let's add a check if we are dismissing our last card. So how we can know this is we can know this if we have only one child in our children collection. And if we just dismiss last child, we can start our resize animation. Let's try this. And it doesn't work. I think it doesn't work because we call setState in our top card dismissed, and this makes this widget rebuild. So let's try to say that we want to remove last card only when it's not our last child. Let's try this. And it didn't help. Okay. Let's make sure this start resize animation in code. So yes, it should be called so start resize animation. And we have some exceptions here. Okay, we call reset, and this means that this assertion doesn't work. Let's remove this. And now it works. And let's check our widget tree, and it's not there. Perfect. Let's remove this log. So at this stage, we have dismissible part ready and closing our widget ready. Now let's try to work on our stack part. For us to display as a nice stack, first of all, we need to add some space underneath our main card. For this, we need to know the size of our child. So I'd like to introduce a property called child height. And I want to make it required. And for now, our child height should be 200. Now what I want to do is try to render our bottom card scaled and translated a little bit at the bottom. For this, we need to extend our height of our parent. The most easiest way to do this is just to produce another size box right here with a height of plus, let's say, 10%. And now we can translate this. We can scale first and then translate this widget. And let's transform it as well. Translate it. So I think we need to use 10% of the child height to translate it. So let's just calculate this here as step height. And 10% of scale. And as you can see, here is our card. Yep. Now the problem is that we don't really animate appearance of this card. So let's work on this first. What we need to animate is these two values, so values of offset and scale. For this, let's introduce new animator. We can just copy paste and reuse Simulus and the resize controller and resize animation. And call it something like top card animation. Now let's see where this resize controller was used. We want to keep it alive during animation, obviously. Top card. We want to dispose this. And I think that's it. Now we have start resize animation and handle resize progress changed. Let's create the Simulus next. So start top card animation and so let's think about it. When we want to start our animation, basically we want to start it when our move animation is completed. So if I release touch here, move animation is completed, and then I want to start my top card animation. We already handled this here, so top card dismissed, move controller reset, and if it was last child, start resize animation. If it wasn't, let's start top card animation. And we can copy this. top card. I think it's nice to reuse resize duration here. And go to code progress changed and update keep alive as well. What we need to do during our top card animation is just call setState so we can update and re-render our view. As you can see, we have different values here, so it's scale, and we should go from 0.9 to 1, and we have offset, and we need to go from offset to offset 0. Let's implement this. So what we need to do is we need to say that if top card animation equals null, then we just need our initial value. But if it's not, we need to go from 0 to 1, and we can use our top card animation. And we can get a value of this tree. We can make sure that we are sure that top card animation is not null because we are checking it right here. So let's do the same with offset. So if top card animation equals null, then this one, and if not, let's say it's tween on offset. Okay. Now let's see if it works. And just to make sure it's easier for us to see it, let's just make our resize duration way, way long. And it does not. Okay, why? Because we render everything right away. And I think these lines are the problem. Let's just try this out then. And it goes in different direction. Start resize animation and start top card animation. I think we need to fix that. We need to go from 0 to 1 first. And here is it. And I'm not sure we want precise time curve like this. Let's just say we want is in out. I'd say designer should tell how this should be done better. I'm not a designer, so I'll just use is in out. Okay, and it works. But now we have the problem that our top card still here. So what it means is that we need to notify our parent about top card dismissed and reset our move controller only after our top card animation is done. And we already know how to do this because we can just copy this from resize animation. In our progress changed, there is this line, like if it's completed, then we notify our parent. Let's just do the same thing. So if top card animation is completed, we can do this. Okay, it works. But now the problem is that our child is not rendered correctly. And that's because we are not resetting our top card animation. Okay, so let's do this right here. And let's remove the speed of our saturation to normal. And it works. Perfectly. Now, this code looks ugly, so let's try to use some helper function to get top card animation ready. And we can use generics to simplify it. So what we need to do is we need to return the value of t get top card. And we need to get values for begin and end. Let's just copy this. As you can see, our begin value is exactly the same as the one we use here. So we can say begin and this is t as well. Oh, okay. Now let's say let's make sure it works. And it still does. And now we can just copy this a little and say that if it's third card, let's just say its step height equals 2, and we want to add step height, and it's from 80% string 0.9. And here is our third card, and it animates as well. Now let's just add the new one. It's 2, 8. The only other thing is that we need to do state transition for this card. And for our opacity, we want to go from 0 to 1, which is exactly as our top card animation. And let's say that and top card animation is not now right here. It's too fast and it's hard to tell if it works or not, so let's just slow down our animation. And as you can see, new card appears with opacity animated as well. Okay, I saw something weird, so if you click fast, you see sometimes you see just dismissed card color. And it happens when you have it up right during the animation, so let's see what's going on here. I'd say that handle drag start. Let's add a check saying that if top card controller is animating, we won't allow tops. And things like this fixed everything. Perfect. So base is done. We have dismissible part, we have stack part. Now let's add controller. And why we need it? We need it because sometimes we want to be able to dismiss our card from one of our child. This can look something like this. So we can have container and we can have center text button dismissing. So in order to achieve this, we need some kind of controller. Let's introduce one. So let's introduce DismissibleStack controller, and we have dispose, and we will have void callback. We will have a function called dismiss, and we will have a void callback. On dismiss requested, and here we can check if on dismiss requested is not null. Call on dismiss requested, and we can just clean callback on dispose. Okay, let's add our controller. And what we need to do is in our init state, we need to check if widget controller is not null. And we need to create some function on dismiss requested. So let's do it right here. Now, what should happen in our onDismiss requested call? It's very easy. Basically, we need to start our move controller. So move controller forward. Let's introduce our controller here. So it's controller. And let's write dismiss me. And it doesn't really work. I'm curious why. Let's see logs. So we need to simulate something like touch down with some drag and release. Let's see what happens in these methods. Okay, we need to call update move animation. And it still doesn't work. Now let's see drag extent. Okay, we are setting our drag extent as well. Seems like simulation of this. Let's try to set it and see what's going to happen. Okay, now it works. Now, in terms of what I understand, yes. So positive dismisses cards to the right, negative dismisses cards to the left. Perfect. Sure, we can introduce some properties to control this, but for now, I don't need this. Works for me. And I think our DismissibleStack widget is done. Let's just copy this into the main project. And let's replace this. So we have our cards widgets. We have our, this is an old one. So we need DismissibleStack symbol, stack control. And let's introduce our DismissibleStack. Cards, child height. It's 140. And here we need to say that we don't want to display false. And the initial value is true. And on top card dismissed, you can say cards remove lost. Okay. Moment of truth. Okay. Our DismissibleStack. And seems like it works. Let's try again. Let's try OK, and something doesn't work here. OK, because we need to pass our controller. Support. Okay, now it works. And we just need some sized box here. That's it. I will post this code for DismissibleStack in comments. Please share your feedback, guys, and let me know if there are any questions, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.